Welcome Home is a major project. It will cost in the region of £1.5 million. When this is completed, we want to develop an even bigger dream, to transform the outbuildings into a visitor centre with space where groups can meet for quiet days, for meals, for school activities, for lectures, where a new shop can be located and where visitors can feel the strength of the welcome to this family home. This bigger scheme will cost in the region of £2.5 million.
I think the Methodist Rectory is very, very important, as it is the birthplace of John and Charles Wesley, and it is etched in the hearts and minds of Methodists all over the world. I think that people who call themselves Methodists want to feel the heartbeat and the pulse and the atmosphere in which the Wesleys were raised. For me to be here, it's something like the Holy Grail of Methodism, the birthplace of Methodism, to try and capture the spirit, the ethos of not only that period, but that period to inspire us as heirs of Wesley, 21st century heirs. When Wesley, at one stage, trying to justify why he was doing field preaching, said the world is my parish, little did he know that 200 and odd years later, that Methodism would find root in 134 countries, and that there would be 76 million people who go by the name, the people called Methodists. I think it's important for everybody to make their contribution, whether it is by some kind of sweat equity or by financial contribution, because we need to see this place that is important for Methodists throughout the globe, for it to be restored to what it was.
Its real significance is as the family home of the Wesleys. Susanna and Samuel raised their children here, and Susanna played a key role in the education, particularly of the girls, but also of the boys. And John and Charles, who grew to be significant figures in the founding of the Methodist movement, owe their beginnings to what happened here. So this is where the seed was sown. There was a great harvest really of the work of John and Charles, but it all began here. It's important because of the origins of the Methodist movement in the family life that Susanna and Samuel built together. It's important because everything grew from here. John, through his ministry, his preaching that went beyond the bounds of the structured and organised church of his day. Charles, through his music and hymn writing, developed a spirituality that enabled growth of this Methodist movement, not only in this country, but John Wesley was concerned that the whole world should hear the good news of God's love that he had come to know. He discovered that the love of God didn't depend upon that organisation and that structure, it just depended upon God. And that was the grace that actually triggered the whole growth of the Methodist movement. And this being the place where it began is of huge significance. If you know where your roots lie, then you begin to know something about what you are really about. So the spirituality, particularly of Susanna, but also of Samuel, that began here, is of that both local and worldwide significance. The building is an old building and it's been through various changes over the years, and since the Methodist Church came to own it in the 1950s, it's been developed as a museum and a place where the heritage can be made known. It's now reached a stage where it's a little tired, to be quite honest, and we see a golden opportunity of developing it into a place where the spirituality that was there originally can be re-expressed. But we need to raise funds. Nothing can be done cheaply these days, and especially with a listed building, when you want to take the greatest care, we have a large sum to raise.
People can help in a number of different ways. I mean, one of the best ways really is to become a friend of the Old Rectory. We have friends all over the world forming groups where they support us by having events that we can resource. And by being a friend of the Rectory, you get free admission in return for an annual subscription, an annual Friends event and newsletters and lots of information about what's going on. It's a nice way to keep in touch with the Rectory as well as supporting. We're trying to encourage our friends who are all over the world to form support groups for the Rectory wherever they are, so that they can gather together and have fundraising events and support us in that way. We could also resource other events. If churches want to hold an event to support the Rectory, we can give you information, we can send speakers, and again that's a nice way to raise money for the Rectory while also raising awareness at the same time. So the Friends is one way. You can of course make a simple donation, which we would always be glad to receive. If you're local, a lovely way to get involved is to come and volunteer here. There are a number of different roles that our volunteers do, and we depend very much on them, so that's another nice way of being involved. You could leave a legacy in your will, which is a nice way of supporting us into the future, and if you work for an employer that has a policy of charitable donations or corporate sponsorship, why not encourage them to have the Rectory as one of those places that they would support. The most important thing is that you know that this is a treasure that belongs to the World Church, really. It's something that is important to all of us, and we'd really encourage everybody to feel involved and to feel that they can support us.
Because the trustees are so eager to develop this place as something that is significant for this generation, as it was for the Wesleys generation, but we need all the help that we can get. We need to raise £1.5 million. Sounds a lot, but actually every little bit soon whittles it away, and every little help counts.